Thank you for joining us for today's virtual education program at Cancer Support Community South Bay. I'm Rebecca, the program manager, and I welcome you to this workshop titled Nutrition, Reduce Inflammation in a Natural Way. Before we begin, if this is your first time joining us, CSC South Bay's mission is to ensure that all people impacted by cancer are empowered by knowledge, strengthened by action, and sustained by communities so no one faces cancer alone. We serve the South Bay, Long Beach, and Orange County area all at no cost. Our program includes support groups, networking groups, healthy lifestyle classes, social activities, and educational programs like this workshop. Educational programs are open to all. If you'd like to hear more about our services or join a community, please visit our website at cscsouthbay.org. Without further ado, or before I introduce today's speaker, we ask you to keep your microphone muted to eliminate any distracting background noise. Please feel free to enter your questions into the chat function found at the bottom of the Zoom window at any time. Without further ado, I introduce our workshop speaker. Lisa Statner MS RDN CSO works as an outpatient oncology dietitian at USC Norris Cancer Hospital. She has over 25 years experience helping survivors navigate the often confusing territory of nutrition before, during, and after cancer treatment. She's a frequent contributor to various media outlets, including Parade Online Magazine and USA Today. Thank you, Lisa, so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much. I love speaking to this group. You guys do such good work here. Well, I guess we will just jump into it, and feel free to ask questions as we go along. I'm going to cover a lot of material tonight, so there's a good chance that your questions will be answered sometime along the way. So let's just get started. And so tonight we're going to talk about inflammation and define inflammation, explain what makes foods anti-inflammatory, and identify 3 anti-inflammatory eating styles. So hopefully you'll leave here tonight with some good tips and tricks to help reduce inflammation. All right, and I apologize. All right, so what is inflammation? So this is sort of the buzzword these days, right? So specifically, inflammation is a localized physical condition in which part of the body becomes reddened, swollen, hot, and often painful, especially as a reaction to injury or infection. So think about if you get a splinter, if you break a glass and you get some glass in your finger. Inflammation is a protective process. It's an immune response and is designated to remove damaged tissue and foreign substances. It's the body's method of healing itself in response to an injury or exposure to a harmful substance. When it functions properly, inflammation is a beneficial process. It's your body's way of protecting itself after an injury. So again, thinking back to that splinter, and over time it gets hot and it sort of pops out all on its own. So that's your body's inflammatory response, which is beneficial. Sometimes, however, the body's attempt to heal and protect itself goes into overdrive. So rather than coming and going for a specific purpose, this type of inflammation lingers quietly for years or months. And just so you all know too, these slides will be available for you. Just let Rebecca know at a later time. And so you don't have to take too many notes furiously here. All right, so there's 2 types of inflammation. All right, and getting a little bit technical here, but so there's chronic and acute. So acute inflammation is caused by injuries and infections, again, like the cuts, the splinters, and sprains. In this picture, a pin punctures the skin and your body would respond to the bacteria through chemical signals to release phagocytes, which are a type of cell that will consume the bacteria and cell debris. By removing them, the tissue is then able to heal. So I hope you guys can all see that there. Okay, so again, acute versus chronic. So you can see all the examples of acute. Burns is another good example there. And then chronic. And really that's what we're going to be talking about tonight more is the chronic. And you can see all these different diseases. Basically, I always say inflammation is the root of all evil. This is where all of our disease starts. All right. Okay, so some of the causes for inflammation, and again, talking about chronic, this is not really an exhaustive list here, but some of the main ones. So we have genetics, toxins and pollutants, aging, although I don't like to really think of that one as applicable, stress, lack of sleep, diet, and exercise. And again, it's not an exhaustive list, but some of the main ones that are known. Okay, so there's several types of diet patterns that have been identified as being anti-inflammatory, and really, especially the first one I'm going to talk about has been around for a really long time, and I'll get into the nitty-gritty on that one. Um, so all of these diets, and you'll see they have a couple things in common, and they all help your body enhance its immune function. And so that's how we reduce inflammation is through our body's immune system. And that's where food can really come in handy. All right, so now the DASH diet is the first one that we're going to talk about. And it might seem funny to talk about a diet that was designed for hypertension prevention. And this is the one that's been around for a really long time. So it's been studied the most. And really the side effects of the DASH diet, they found that it really reduces inflammation that crosses over into all disease. And remember, again, all disease really starts with inflammation. So especially cancer. Um, so what does DASH stand for? It's dietary approaches to stop hypertension. And basically, it's just a healthy, well-rounded diet with a lot of fruits and vegetables. And that's the key. That's kind of where all the magic is. Low-fat dairy, whole grains, lean meats. And again, it has been found to lower blood pressure. No one really knows for sure why it does that, and it's probably due to the extra fruits and vegetables that are eaten. Um, all right, so just a little bit more about the DASH diet. And it's funny because this was a diet we used to talk about when I was a new dietitian, and it's really come full circle again as it being probably one of the more practical ones because you can really adapt it to your own eating preferences and styles than a lot of the other diets. So it's lower in the saturated fats, the trans fats. So the trans fats is what we think of in any fat that's hydrogenated. It's lower in sodium, high in potassium, calcium, magnesium, fiber especially. So we hear a lot about fiber these days and how important the fiber is and creating prebiotics and probiotics in the gut. And this just gives you an idea. And honestly, sometimes when I look at this, I think, wow, that's a lot of carbohydrates. And it is. So that's probably what I would say when we're talking about cancer prevention. It might be a little heavy in that department. Now, this is just very general and 1,600 calories a day, probably most women, most men about 2,000 calories a day. 2,600 calories might be more if you're actively going through cancer treatment, your needs are a lot higher. Um, but the part on this that I find funny is the bottom on the sweets. If you're on 1,600 calories a day, you don't get any. But then if you bump it up, you get one almost every day. So I always thought that was kind of funny. All right. And I'm not going to belabor this diet too much, but here's some good resources for you. Um, the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute does a great job, and they have all kinds of great information and recipes and kind of quasi meal plans that you can look up there. And just cooking tips. All right, so the next diet that we're going to highlight is the Mediterranean diet. And I think we probably hear about this diet most in relation to cancer prevention and an anti-inflammatory diet. And again, not perfect. But some things in common, again, with that DASH diet. So how this came about, the Mediterranean diet, so it reflects eating habits of people that live around the Mediterranean Sea. And so these diets, are known for preventing chronic disease, lots of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, legumes, probably more seafood than other types of meats, and a moderate amount of red wine. And you know, really, when it comes to alcohol, the thinking has really changed. And it used to be recommendations were, one glass of wine for women a night, two for men. But now really the recommendation now is that there's no amount of alcohol that is safe. And the benefit of the red wine was the resveratrol, which is an anti-inflammatory chemical. You can get that in grapes. You don't need the wine component. It's not the alcohol that's special about red wine. It was more really the grapes, to be honest, and just that people in that region happen to have wine. So we're really getting away from that. Okay, and so some of the main components of this diet, again, inspired by people that live around the Mediterranean, very plant-based, limited processed foods. And so I think that's key on this one, really emphasizing that component. When the DASH diet was, I guess I'll just say invented for lack of a better word, we really didn't focus as much on processed foods because food wasn't quite as processed back then. It was really in the 90s where there was just this huge push for everything to be convenient and processed. And so that's where the Mediterranean diet stands out a little bit, I think. And then also, of course, the olive oil, which is very high in the polyphenols and anti-inflammatory properties. Okay. And so there's a lot of recipes, resources available for a Mediterranean diet. Here's another website that you can go to. And I personally really like the Mediterranean diet because that's my food preferences. And another diet that's very similar that we're not really going to talk about now, but the Okinawan diet, which a lot of people in Asia have that sort of eating style, which is really pretty similar to the Mediterranean diet. I would say two big differences would be that the Okinawan diet doesn't have the olive oil, but seaweed instead, which is very healthy. And then the Mediterranean has the olive oil. Sorry, I'm going kind of slow here. I've working two computers at once, so I'm not the best tech person. Eating Well is a fantastic website. I've used this for many, many years and really good recipes. So you've probably noticed you've found recipes that look really good and they don't turn out well. And the little hidden secret on that is many recipes, I would say the majority, are not well tested. So this is definitely a website that I can attest to that they do have very well tested recipes. So it's not your cooking that's bad, it's the recipe. All right, now lastly, sort of a newer coin term is the plant-forward vegetarian diet. So this, I think, is probably the most flexible. Some people choose to go completely vegetarian, and then there's sort of a spectrum there. Some people still want to add dairy, things like yogurt, Eggs is another one, seafood, or even some meat once in a while, or chicken. And so you can really get very creative with this type of eating, but it's still heavy in the fruits and vegetables. You've got the whole grains, beans, more soy in this diet, lentils, nuts, seeds, and really focusing also on the herbs and spices, where the other two diets didn't quite as much. So this is sort of, I would say, the evolution of the other diets is what we call the plant forward diet. All right, and so a lot of reasons why people want to follow a vegetarian diet. And so for some, it's for the environment, ethical reasons, and again, just really focusing on those plants. And here are some more resources for you. So myplate.gov is kind of a fun website. They even have a little type of calculator where you plug in your height, your weight, a few other bits of information, and it will actually show you how many fruits and vegetables you need a day, how much protein you might need for the day. And it's just a little app, or you could even do it on your computer. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. All right. And again, another good website for you and recipes. All right. So here's a question for all of you. I think I already answered it for you, but what are some of the things that the three diets have in common? And it's right here. Increase fruits, vegetables, whole grains. And there is some debate on grains. I'll just touch on this quickly in case someone asks anyway. And I know some recommendations say avoid gluten, avoid grains. And, you know, our a lot of our grains are not the same as they used to be, say, 30 years ago. Just farming practices are different. Some of the seeds are different. We've got the GMOs, a lot of different issues with that. And a lot of people don't tolerate those because of that. And something I hear constantly is someone will say, well, I'm on a gluten-free diet, except when I go to Europe. And what does that tell you? So the products are a little bit different there. And so, I think this is where knowing your body the best, and we can get really overwhelmed with all the information, especially on the internet. It's overwhelming to me even. And I think that you know how you feel. If a food bothers you when you eat it and it doesn't feel good, avoid it. You know, sometimes allergies can come and go throughout the life cycle. So sometimes it could be just a real allergy. It could be an intolerance to where that particular food was grown, because there can definitely be some nutrient differences there. So always listen to your body and, really use that as your guide. I'm gonna move along a little bit here. All right, so let's talk about protein and fat a little bit. So how can we quantify what is and not considered inflammatory? All right, so talking about these three diet patterns, something you might be asking is, how can this be measured? How can we even know if what we are eating are having any anti-inflammatory benefits? So when we're talking about anti-inflammatory, we're talking about decreasing that chronic inflammation that starts at the cellular level. So you don't see it like you would with that splinter in your finger, but that's where all disease starts brewing. And in some cases, it could take years for that to really brew. So there is something that, and I'll be honest, this is not a tool that I necessarily use, but I think it's really interesting information. And so the Dietary Inflammatory Index, it was created using article reviews. So I think it was over 2,000 studies that were looked at of previously existing studies on 45 components of food and their effects on different inflammatory markers. And then using adjusted scores were categorized. So if the score was plus, it was pro-inflammatory, 0, no change, negative, anti-inflammatory. Kind of seems like it would be the other way around, but so it's helpful to know, that a lot of different foods are really being looked at as far as their anti-inflammatory or pro-inflammatory properties. All right, so the dietary inflammatory index is used to assess the whole diet. So although individual food components are rated, it is the composite score of all the foods eaten that's important, right? So eating is kind of like a marathon rather than a sprint, just to use that analogy. So the key takeaway is that an intake of phytochemicals, antioxidants, and fiber from plant sources is the most protective against inflammation. So I'm just going to repeat that. So the phytochemicals, are just plant chemicals, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Antioxidants, so think of, like vitamin C as an example, and fiber. So these are the three most important components, and primarily in our plant foods, right? And so they can prevent cellular stresses, inhibit inflammatory signals caused by the immune system, promote a healthy gut microbiota, which that probably should be at the top. The gut really is the second brain. Slow down digestion to prevent surges in blood glucose. So high blood glucose means high insulin levels. And so that is another very potent cause of inflammation, and you don't have to be diabetic for that situation. And it's also may help reduce fat cells, which also is another powerful cause of inflammation. So that's why we always talk about a healthy weight. All right, so now the fun part, I think. So the anti-inflammatory properties were found from different plant-based compounds called phytonutrients, like I mentioned before. There's really thousands of these that have been discovered. When I was a new dietitian, there was probably a handful. And I read some number recently that there's probably about 14,000 that actually have been discovered. So isoflavones, that's what you find in your soy, anthocyanins, all of your purple foods, flavanols, it just goes on and on and on. Lycopene, you've probably heard of in the tomatoes. So every plant has really a collection of plant chemicals that are beneficial to health and can help reduce inflammation. So that's why we always harp so much on the plant foods, because that's really where everything is at. And the fiber. And the fiber, as I mentioned before, really is your prebiotics, turns into probiotics or fermented, and does a world of good for your health. So spices, a lot more attention on spices than ever before, and I think this is kind of fun. Really, Eastern medicine relied a lot on these different spices and flavorings long before we really did. And I think kind of where this it came into popularity was especially during the time like around the DASH diet, when we were really looking at lowering sodium and what is our replacement. And so we started delving into all these different spices. So this is just a few. Ginger and turmeric in particular have very powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant activities. Oregano, you hear a lot about. I mean, really all of these, and there's so many more. If you ever, well, probably not a nerd like me, and sometimes I'll look at the pharmaceutical journals to see, what drugs are, coming up, and they're taking plants and spices and the rind off of lemons and limes to make our pharmaceuticals. So that just tells you how powerful our plant foods really are. So now we have some more anti-inflammatories, so vitamins and minerals, and these really are more like your antioxidants. And there is one vitamin in particular that in too high of a dose can actually be pro-inflammatory or pro-inflammatory, and that's B12. And the only place you can get B12 is from your animal products. So that's probably a correlation there of why too much of the fatty animal products can be problematic. And again, the more research that comes out, the more we learn. Sometimes these recommendations go back and forth. And so, which probably drives you just as crazy as it does me. You may have heard, if you've ever had radiation treatment, not to take these vitamins or very potent anti-inflammatories, and that's because the vitamins, the high dose antioxidants, basically are doing the same thing as your radiation. And so they're both killing free radicals. So there's some indication that the vitamins could make the radiation a little bit less effective. All right, so here now keep in mind these things that are listed here, this is just what has been studied. And for instance, we always hear about broccoli being so good or walnuts so good, so high in the anti-inflammatories. Basically, that's because they've been studied the most. And so blueberries, that's another one. They've probably been, they've been studied more than any other berry. So that's kind of where we get these lists of the so-called superfoods. And I always feel like, it's so important to have as much variety as possible, especially with our plant foods, and rotating them as much as possible, because who knows what will be discovered next year. And I always use celery as a really good example because we always thought of celery as sort of a nothing food. It's got little fiber and water and, let's call it a day. But, some powerful anti-inflammatory chemicals were discovered there probably about 10 years ago. And so now that's, you could almost put celery on the superfood list. So, iceberg lettuce, who knows? They'll probably find something there as well. So, you can see this list is basically a lot of the things, that you've heard about. And that's part of the reason why. Chia seeds are kind of a new one, not really new to human consumption. Chia seeds have been around for forever. But that's just one seed that's been studied a little bit more. Same with the flax seed, so high in these omega-3s. So always think of variety. And, most people only eat a variety of about 13 different foods, believe it or not. So if you keep that, that doesn't seem like much variety. So if you keep that number in mind, and I used to say eat seasonally if you can, although now we can get everything around the world. So that's where a little bit of planning, with our foods and our menus come in. Now, what are the things that we don't want? So these are the pro-inflammatory foods that we really want to eliminate, and it's hard. Just the way the American diet, we call it the SAD diet, the standard American diet, because it's so high in a lot of these things. And so the refined carbohydrates, where they're stripping all the nutrients out, very often they're processed very highly. The sweetened beverages, this has been linked to childhood obesity, all these sweetened beverages, fried foods, the processed meats, and all the nitrates. All the nitrates I learned about as an undergraduate a long time ago. They knew that they were carcinogenic in the bacon and the sausage, and they're still there. So it's always shocking to me that we're still consuming these things. So, if you do have bacon, sausage, things like that, you really want to look for the ones without the nitrates. The saturated fats, we're not as crazy about the low fat or the non-fat as we used to be, because there certainly are some healthy benefits to some fats. But too much of the saturated fats can definitely be pro-inflammatory. And I see we've got a couple questions here too. And then the trans fats, which fortunately we don't see those as much, and those are the hydrogenated oils. Like if you think of the margarines, and they've cleaned a lot of those up. B12 can be pro-inflammatory. Yeah, don't, I know a lot of us take B12 and it's recommended by our doctors, but a lot of times people go a little crazy on, more is not always better. And so you really want, just the right amount. So, I didn't want to scare anybody on that one. What's the difference between the fat and fatty fish? So in meat, it tends to be very saturated. And so in fish, you have more of the poly, the monounsaturated, the little bit healthier fats. And fats from plants. Yeah, absolutely. Plants have fats and or smaller amounts, but those are definitely the healthier. So think of olive and olive oil, one of the best fats that you can have. Seasonal is better considering transportation process from long distances. Yeah. What do you recommend for someone who's gaining 4 to 7 pounds water weight overnight after eating healthy foods like nightshades, especially tomatoes and peppers, avocado and cashews? I'm eating as close to carnivore as is bearable due to reactions to too many foods, even some meats like cured pork and chicken breasts. So are there reliable tests to show issues? So there are some inflammatory markers. CRP is just a common one. A lot of you may have tested. There is a panel that you can have done. You can go to an allergist, which, most allergists are highly, highly trained. Also, if you're going from a low carbohydrate to a high carbohydrate diet, you will bloat and retain water because carbohydrates attract water. And so that's why, people that go the other way, high carbohydrate diet to very low, just lose a ton of water overnight. So that's probably part of the issue. But again, this is another good case of, your body the best. And, you have to really listen to what your body's telling you, or maybe even go see a dietitian and have them kind of help you ferret out some of these specific foods. Um, uh, so statins. I think well, that's really a discussion with your doctor. There's, you still really want to take it easy on the saturated fats if you're on a statin. So those are excellent questions. All right, let's move on here. All right, any thoughts here? So any changes that you might make? Hopefully I've inspired some of you a little bit. No, any ideas of things that you've done to help change your diet for the better? Honestly, all of my best tips that I give patients, I just got from other patients, and I just spread it around. And so I think one of the issues is having the time to shop, to cook, clean up. It can be a production. So, oh, good. Let's see. Will these diets help with someone with rheumatoid arthritis? Yeah, I mean, that's an inflammatory disease. So, I can't speak for you, individually on that, but I do know people that swear by, improving their diet really helped with that. incorporate those herbs on the list at every meal. Excellent idea. And that's a thing. We're not used to using a lot of herbs, I think, here too. And that's where recipes really come in handy. How about fasting or time restricted eating? Excellent comment. I am a big fan of that. And I think that especially the time restricted or intermittent fasting, you have to sort of look at what works for your lifestyle, your schedule, and what can you stick to. Because as I said in the beginning, I really feel like, healthy habits is the marathon. And we get a lot more bang for our buck if we are consistent with our habits instead of being like the weekend warrior with the exercise and then do nothing for a month. Um, and I think we, stress ourselves out too much, thinking that we have to have this perfect diet, and you don't. And it takes time. My diet's always a work in progress. I'm always changing things and trying new things and doing things that work with my schedule. And so I think that's the important part about like the intermittent fasting, and it could be just fasting for one day is the way you do it. So, just Google, different types of schedules and see what works for you. But I am a big fan of that. Where do eggs? I love eggs. It's one of the best sources of protein, best absorbed sources of protein. Very, very versatile. And especially for people that are going through treatment, um, you can do so much with them. They're easy to chew, easy to cook, you know, the whole egg, yolk and all. And so that's where a lot of the nutrition is. So really, eggs have been back on the menu for a long time. Um, how about cooking? Can I cook the goodness right out of the food? W- Another excellent question. So minerals stay the same. You can't destroy minerals. Minerals are what they are. Think of iron, iron skillet, iron supplement, iron in your beef, it's all the same. Your vitamins are another story. So anytime you subject food to agitation, temperature change, so cooking, freezing, light, time, all of those things start to reduce the nutrient content. Now, how much, it will vary, but, and the fibers do break down, especially with heat and agitation. The phytochemicals probably stay more intact than some of the vitamins do, but it's not a good reason to say I'm not going to try because you still get a lot of benefit. I know a while back there was a big craze of the raw food diet, and it's funny because I remember, can't think of the actress. She really promoted it, and I saw a picture of her the other day at 60 something, and I thought, well, I should have made fun of her about the raw food diet. She looks pretty good, but so yeah, so this is not a perfect world. Our food is going to break down a bit. Do you have to reduce sugars to zero sugar? So, I wasn't really going to talk about sugar, but sugar's kind of the bad boy in the food world. And, when they took the fat out in the 90s, they dumped all this sugar in, and especially cheap processed sugar. It's actually the fructose component part of sucrose. So sucrose is two chemicals. It's glucose and fructose. Fructose is metabolized very similar to alcohol, and that's kind of where a lot of the problem comes from. Some researchers will say zero, and when you look at a food label, it's where it says added sugars, that's your fructose right there. Don't be afraid of fresh fruit because the fruit has like the fiber that essentially buffers the absorption. So that's not an issue. But um, but as low as possible. I've heard some researchers say 0 grams of sugar a day. Others say no more than 4 grams of added sugar a day. Others say, well, during the week, be stricter, maybe on the weekends. I think any way we can reduce our sugars especially in sugary drinks. And I would include fruit juice in this as well. That I think vegetable juices are much healthier. But any way you can just move in the right direction, you're going to do a lot of benefit for yourself. What would be recommended for someone with ulcerative colitis, flare-ups, as lots of fiber, vegetables, and nuts actually exacerbate the problem? I know that's a really tough one. A little bit more than the scope of this talk today. I definitely would go see a registered dietitian to help you with that, because there are some diets out there that can be really helpful with that. A FODMAP diet, as an example, is one. So sorry to hear that. That is not a fun thing to have. Is there any difference between cooked fruits and vegetables and raw? So kind of touched on that one there. And really, in some cases, you absorb the nutrients better when something is cooked. So as an example, the lycopene I mentioned, which has been shown to help reduce the risk of prostate cancer, you absorb that better when it's cooked. So like in a tomato sauce. So that's kind of where the raw foods diet fell a little flat, I think. It seems that rice is not very well accepted as food because of it being pro-inflammatory, but it's eaten by billions of people. Are these billions of people afflicted with inflammatory diseases compared with Western people? I think a lot of that depends on, where you grew up, what your body is used to. So I think that's a good comment. In Eastern cultures or even Eastern medicine, they've always said that dairy and gluten are pro-inflammatory. But you look at the population where those studies were done, they don't tolerate those foods anyway because they're eating rice. In this country, we're not used to rice as much. We're more used to the wheat. But again, that falls into what works for your body, and I've seen the craziest thing in my career where, of what's on paper, it will say this thing, and then when it comes to the person, it doesn't translate. And so people surprise me all the time. So you really have to listen to your body. And that's one thing I find, with anyone that's gone through cancer, is they really become much more attuned to their body than the rest of the population, which is a positive. I was told to avoid processed meats, even though there's no added nitrates, because most contain celery powder, which behave the same way in the body. I don't know that that's true. I'm not going to say no. I've not heard that being the case. You know, but I doubt it, because the nitrates are pretty potent carcinogens. And, but yeah, thanks for bringing it up. I will definitely research that. What about real maple syrup? It's still a sugar. I hate to say it. So moderation again. Should I pay attention to the glycemic index? We really don't use that anymore, because there were so many variables on the glycemic index, as far as, was that wheat grown on a Sunday and it was, you know, 70 degrees outside, to, how your body reacts to it. So it's really more lowering the carbohydrate content. And I would even say a low-ish carbohydrate diet is really where we're trending towards more than just the glycemic index. Because again, that's one of those things where what's on paper, food that should shoot someone up doesn't. And you can't explain it. It's just that person, Thank you, and bon appetit. Thank you too. With soil depletion and modified, sorry, I'm losing it here. Soil depletion and modified fruits and vegetables that are more like sugar bombs to taste better. How can we find truly healthy foods? Um, I don't have an answer for that either. We do our best. That's about the best that I can say. Small farmers, if you ever go to your farmer's market, you don't have a lot of the real small farms there necessarily, but I do try and seek out people that are there and that really are true farmers. It's kind of a dying breed, unfortunately. And I think sometimes they do a better job. Hopefully, with more awareness, things will start changing and where we spend our money. That's about the best that I can say there, but I'm hopeful that things will start getting better. So I think that's a good point. Rice is gluten-free. Yes, that's correct. What are your thoughts on smoothies with greens? Does it raise blood sugar because it's so quickly metabolized? I like greens. I mean, I make a green drink myself, but it's very low in sugar. I use maybe a quarter of a green apple, for flavor, and that's it. And mostly greens and some herbs and things. So I'm not a big fan of smoothies unless you're going through treatment and you just can't eat anything and you're maybe having trouble swallowing, you don't have the energy. During treatment is a whole other ball game. As compared to, what you're doing on the day to day. Please address Crohn's disease, colitis, and anti-inflammatory symptoms. That's getting a little bit out of the scope here, but again, I would say, like the other person that brought up ulcerated colitis, please see a dietitian or a GI specialist and have them work with you on what diet is right for you, because those are really tricky. And again, it's so individual what you can tolerate or not. And I know it's frustrating, but definitely get with someone that specializes in GI. And there's a lot of dietitians that do as well. What are your thoughts on organic and non-organic? Yeah, yeah. That's a loaded question there, Nora. Um, you know, I'll just tell you truthfully. I, you know, I still go with organic when it comes to berries or things that if you can't really wash off the outside so much. With chicken or beef, I still think organic is better. Now dairy, what what I have been told is that that it's actually you're not getting organic because they mix together the organic milk with the non-organic to fill those big tankers that you see. So there's no such thing, and I heard that from someone in the dairy industry. So that was a little disappointing. I think you do what your budget can allow. Food is so extraordinarily expensive, and if it's a matter of eating organic or not eating produce, then just get the regular. I think what the benefits of in your let's see, Karen. Well, yeah, I mean, that was from someone that's actually in the industry and has a business also that goes around testing all the dairy. But all right, so that's good to know. There's some good ones out there because I think that the more organic we do, the better. So thank you for mentioning that, Karen. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I think a lot of it depends on what your budget allows, and we do our best. I would love that everything was organic in a perfect world, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. Do we have any more? You guys had such great comments and questions. I'm a vegan and do eat a lot of veggies and fruits, but I love carbs, potatoes, pasta, sourdough bread. I will incorporate more spices. Great. Great, great, great. Yeah. So, it's eating is very individual, and one other, or buy organic produce that would typically retain more pesticides, as you mentioned. Organic produce can also have a higher nutritional value, and those organic carrots at the farmer's market are delicious. Yeah. And some frozen organic too. Sometimes I do that. Like I get frozen organic cherries, and it's much more economical that way. But then, it's in plastic bags, but that's a whole other discussion. We could drive ourselves crazy, I think, with all the things in our food. So, all right. So I think that, oh, here was just a few ideas. So these are on the slides, for some meals and things. And I think that was almost it. I wanted to show you some of so lots of references here. So if you get the slides, you can look a lot of these things up. And, things change all the time. The research changes all the time. And, like I said many times, don't drive yourself crazy. You just do your best, and things that I mean, I was the worst offender. I was teaching the food pyramid for many years and only egg whites, and now I don't say that anymore because we have more information. And, that's just the reality there. So, oh, a couple more quick comments. And oh, you're welcome. Should we share the slide on breakfast? Is it okay to take 1,000 micrograms of B12 every day? I am going to turf that to your doctor. So discuss that with your doctor. So I don't want to give medical advice here. Did I pass it? No. I see chickpeas. So I was reading something where you could take, any of our vegans in the group may know this, you can take the juice from a can of chickpeas and blend it, and it makes whipped cream. Have you guys seen that? It's so bizarre. It makes beautiful whipped cream. The problem, it smells like beans. It just is the weirdest thing. Here we go. All right. So hopefully that'll give you a few ideas. So lots of different ideas. Mushrooms, which was not on the slides here. Couple very potent anti-inflammatories. And what's really crazy about mushrooms, it's not the fancy ones. So the ones highest, yes, it doesn't taste like chickpeas. It's just the smell. But mushrooms, it's the white button mushrooms that you see everywhere that's the most potent with the anti-inflammatories. And all you need is equivalent to about 1 mushroom a day, or like an omelet on the weekends with mushrooms to get the full benefit. So definitely keep just the plain old mushrooms in your diet. Aquafaba is what we call that in the restaurant biz. People use it to make vegan cocktails. Oh, interesting. All right. I guess I didn't make it properly, but it smelled funny to me, but it was beautiful. I guess that's about it. So thank you all so much for taking your time out and to listen to me ramble on about my favorite topic. So
Thank you so much, Lisa. That was such wonderful information and such a wealth. Yes. So Lisa was so great to allow us to record and also share the slides. So I'm going to put my email address into the chat. If you would like access to read the recording or the slides, please email me. And